Hey, most of us have played a little Candy Crush or Plants vs. Zombies on our phones at some point or another. Did you realize how much mobile gaming is big business? This year, mobile gaming is expected to generate about nearly $215 billion worldwide in revenue. That number is growing fast. There are a lot of choices with what games to play. So we brought in the expert so that you know what to do. He's going, what? Gaming expert AJ Fry is here in studio with me this morning. You are the expert, man.
You know, I have things to be an expert in. I suppose gaming is a fun one anyway.
Your like younger self is
I feel like I should look more astute, you know, with glasses. Yes, I'm an expert in gaming, here to present to you all the key information pertaining to your gaming activities.
I mean, feel free to do the rest of the segment like that.
Well, yes, let's talk about Splatoon 3 here.
Okay, let's do it. So Splatoon 3 is for all ages. What is so special about this game?
I mean, it's a fun franchise. It's a great introduction into the shooter genre. Of course, Splatoon 3 is exclusive for Nintendo Switch. It is a game for all ages. It's colorful, it's fun. You play as Inklings or Octolings, which are basically humanoids who can also transform into cephalopods, and you use a bunch of different weaponry in order to cover the game world in your color of ink as you compete against other players. Of course, there is a single-player campaign to this new game all about the fuzzy ooze, but for me, Splatoon really shines as a game and franchise when it is multiplayer, which you can do with your friends locally if you're in the same room or sitting together in the back of the car, perhaps. But you can also play online with a Nintendo Online account. Like I was saying, this shines in multiplayer. It looks like it's a fun, family-friendly game, of course, with that colorful quality to it. There you see some of the Inklings on your screen. But don't sleep on this one. Splatoon is also a very tricky game, and if you're a competitive player like myself, you will find that there is a great competitive pool online to challenge you, and a deep strategy to this one as well. And they've announced that they're planning on supporting this game over the next 2 years with new content releases every 3 months. So,
very cool.
Yeah, great deal for this one. Available exclusively on Nintendo Switch.
Next up is a digital adaptation of an award-winning game, Root.
Yeah.
What about this one?
So I fell in love with Root actually just before the pandemic hit as a board game and was so delighted to discover that you can actually play this now as a video game. I would kind of say that it's comparable to chess or Risk, but a lot more complicated than that because this is an asymmetrical game of woodland warfare. So there are 4 different factions you can play as, and each one plays very differently. As you play as the Marquita cat, the orange cat's in the game. It's all about, you know, maintaining your supply line and your front lines. If you're playing as the birds, it's kind of a puzzle game that you build for yourself to solve a puzzle on your next turn of all the different actions that you're going to have to take. As the Woodland Alliance, you kind of lay low and downplay your own threat level and then launch surprise rebellions. And then you can play as a singular vagabond character who can quest throughout the game world and aid the other players and then maybe even team up with one to win together. So it's a game of king-making. It's available on your smartphones, also on Nintendo Switch. I would recommend it for players aged 8 and up. It is very complex, but you can play it asynchronously as well. So rather than playing a full game like over an hour, you can be notified on your phone, oh, it's your turn.
Your time is up.
Yeah, your time to take your turn in your game with your family that you play over a number of weeks or something like that.
Lastly, really quick, we've got a simulation game called Stardew Valley.
Oh man, this is one of the most popular games in the world. It's sold over 20 million copies since it was released in 2016. Kind of akin to Minecraft, but it's got that top-down pixel graphic to it. Very relaxing. $5, you can play it on your smartphone. It's not going to ask you for money or things to progress in the game. It's about growing your crops, but it's also about growing your relationships with the non-player characters in the game, who you can even marry some of them and start a family within the game as you build community and your farm. Highly recommend it for a relaxing experience and something more soul-nourishing than just constantly, you know, scrolling your social feed while you're on your commute.
Amazing. AJ, thank you so much for coming
Kelsey, so much fun to be back. Thanks for having me.
You are the expert.
Yes,
hey.
It was wonderful. Hope you've all been educated on video games. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.